What's up, everybody? My name is Tori Franco. This is the What the World Needs podcast. This is either episode 22 or 23, depending on how I feel about an episode that I recorded a couple of days ago. It was like an angry rant, and I don't know if I want to post it. So I don't know if this is going to be 23 following that episode or just 22, and I'm just not going to post the other episode. So that was a really long intro, but in this episode, I kind of want to talk about some things that I've seen going on lately, not having to do with me. I feel like I talk about myself a lot on this podcast, and I don't want to do that. I'm trying to get some people to commit to me to come, once a week and do like a round table type discussion. But until then, you just get my opinion, and you're going to have to deal with it. There's a lot of shit going on, and I feel as though I want to talk about it. So the first thing is this kind of, I guess you could call it a shitstorm that happened on Twitter today. I'm just jumping right into this shit. So apparently Roseanne made a bigoted comment about one of Obama's old representatives. To be honest, I've never heard of this woman before. I'm not too I pay attention, but not that much to know people's names and shit. But needless to say, the woman is a black woman, and Roseanne basically called her a monkey. I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to read the article and then kind of just I'm not going to read the whole article because ain't nobody got time for that. But I'm going to read part of the article and give you the gist of what happened and then kind of just give my own opinion on the situation. Because since all of this has happened and this shitstorm, I'm literally on Twitter right now, and it's like the only thing trending is anything having to do with this subject, basically, besides like The Walking Dead and this guy who I don't know and I don't care about. Most of the things trending on Twitter have to do with this situation. So apparently people are like up in arms on either side for different reasons. But her show, which was going to be a revival of the show Roseanne, I was going to say Roseanne, which is a show that I fucking loved and still love. I mean, I love the show, but it's just, I don't know if it's on anymore. They were going to do a revival. It was in the works, I'm pretty sure. It was on ABC. Yeah, this is all through ABC. I don't know if they aired episodes because I don't watch TV anymore. I just consume that much YouTube that I don't watch anything else. But the show's been canceled, and people are naturally giving their opinions about the subject. So I kind of wanted to give mine and shed some light. And then there's a couple other things that I wanted to talk about. I've been wanting to talk about, but I've been waiting for some people to sit in with me. But fuck it. I'm just going to talk about it on my own. The NFL has recently come out with a rule stating that you have to stand for the national anthem, or else your team or the coaches can be fined, or like you personally can be fined. I kind of want to give my opinions on that. And then there's just a couple other things. And I don't know, whatever. So to start, I'm going to go into this article. It says on Tuesday morning, which is now, today. Well, it's not Tuesday morning, but today, a flare of outrage burned through Twitter. Roseanne Barr was up and tweeting. Thanks. That's a really good sentence. After retweeting a post by @SGT Report, which bills itself as a corporate propaganda antidote, involving claims from WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange that the CIA had spied on French candidates under President Obama, Barr then found herself in a Twitter canoe with a Trump supporter and another account with just 22 followers discussing Obama and his apparent deception. Muslim Brotherhood, this is a quote, it says, Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby equals VJ. which VJ is the woman that she's talking about. Barr tweeted with VJ meaning the advisor, Valerie Jarrett, who is black. If you're unfamiliar with the long history of dehumanizing racist caricatures that compare black people to apes, here's a good primer, and then it gives a link. So, I mean, that's really all I'm going to read because, I mean, she deleted the tweet. It goes on to say she deleted the tweet and apologized to Valerie and all Americans for the bad joke and yada yada. And then ABC issued a statement saying that fuck that bitch, basically. So here we are, and people have very, very diverse opinions about this subject. And I don't know. I feel like, should she have said what she said? No. You just don't say shit like that, especially like you're not completely oblivious to the underlying racism in that comment. I feel like nobody is oblivious to that. Everybody understands. Like, I understand that calling a black person a monkey or an ape is directly racist. You know, if somebody called me a monkey as a white person, I wouldn't take offense to it in the same way that if you call a black person a monkey or an ape or say something like that, that person would, you know, it would deeply affect them, because that's just something that black people have been called for years as a racist remark. So to me, it's like, as an older woman who's been around the block, you should have known that. You should have really used your fucking brain and understood that. As far as here's where I kind of take a little turn, because she was wrong, no doubt. She was 100% wrong. Shouldn't have said what she said. It was disgusting what she said. But I kind of go back to, like, Trevor Noah. If you don't watch him, he's the host of The Daily Show. If you don't watch him, then you don't live on this friggin' planet. And I'm pretty sure he said in an interview one time, like, I can't word it the same way, but what he said was, like, racism has always existed. It will always, well, not, hopefully it won't always exist, but for the most part, there's always going to be people out there who have those underlying racist views. And what we typically do whenever somebody makes a racist remark, or somebody makes a remark that doesn't agree with the majority of people, is we just cut those people off. You know, we cancel their shows and we say bye-bye, see you later, and we basically push these people back into the closet, instead of just having a genuine conversation with somebody and being like, where were you coming from with that? Like, what's going on here? Why would you say that? Why would you go to that? What makes you think that that isn't a disgusting remark to make? What didn't register in your head? Instead of us saying that, we just kind of take these racist people and cut them off from society and make them go back to where they came from, you know, go back in the racist closet. But at that point, we're not fixing racism by doing that. We're not changing people's minds by doing that. As you can see on Twitter, there are many people who are pissed off that the show was canceled. A lot of people, you know, I hate to say it like this, but a lot of people on the right are pissed off and are bringing up other examples of this and that. Or why wasn't this show canceled? Why wasn't that show canceled? Yada, yada. It's because of liberals and this and that. And it just creates more of a divide, right? The cancellation, to me, just creates more of a divide. It feeds fuel to the fire. Instead of just saying, you know what, even suspending her or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what the proper punishment would have been, or not even punishment, the proper dealing would have been for this particular situation. But I agree with Trevor Noah when he says, and I haven't heard his comments on this specific situation, so I'm not trying to claim that this is his same viewing on the topic, but overall, when he says that we push racists back into the closet, if she is racist, or if she's just an ignorant idiot who doesn't get how that comment could be racist, shunning her is not going to make her learn. Really. I mean, I'm sure in some sense she'll learn. She's not going to learn to accept people of all different colors and creeds. She's going to learn to keep her mouth shut. That's the difference. Doing this is only teaching, it's not teaching her how to not be a racist. It's teaching her how to shut the fuck up, which is fine. Okay, great. We want racists to shut the fuck up. But at the same time, I think I'd rather have a racist be reformed, if that could be possible. I mean, some people are way too fucking out there to ever see the light. But I don't think that's the case with Roseanne. I don't, I mean, she's done some pretty racy things in her career, singing the national anthem while grabbing her crotch, being one of them. And this is what makes me laugh, is that all these people on the right who are, are for, going to the Colin Kaepernick situation, and this NFL approving this new rule that you're not allowed to kneel, you have to stand. It's mandated that you have to stand. The same people that support Roseanne Barr, who literally years ago grabbed her crotch while singing the national anthem and making a mockery of the national anthem. You can't disrespect America any more than this woman did, and now everybody's coming to her aid because she's making a race. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. It just doesn't make sense. This is why I don't like people. This is why I just don't like people. I don't like this bullshit, because people just back whoever is on their side at that moment. They don't care about right or wrong at that point. It's not about right or wrong. It's not about morals. It's about, who do you support? Oh, you support this person? So do I. You're on my side. I got your back. And that's not how it should be. To me, that's just so disingenuous and stupid. But in regards to this situation, I think it's kind of sad that her show has been canceled, because she fucked up, not the rest of the cast. Like, you have, like, here's a picture of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 other people other than Roseanne that were going to be starring in this show and excited and, coming back, or just, there's new kids I can see. You're literally just fucking all of them over because Roseanne is an idiot. So, I don't know, write her out of the show. If you really want to get her off of the to me, this isn't ABC taking a stance on racism. This is ABC saying, whoa, our ratings are going to fucking flop. We're not going to make as much money off of this show anymore. So bye-bye. Because it's all based around greed. There's no fucking morals behind any of this. Like, any decision that's made, there's no morals. There's no moral compass that guides these big corporations. And I hate to sound like that, but it's the truth. Nobody gives a shit about, they don't really care about the substance of what was said. They just care about what it looks like. That's at the end of the day, that's what it all comes down to. I don't think the show should have been canceled. And I'm not saying that I don't think the show should have been canceled because what she said was right, or what she said was okay. It wasn't okay. It's not okay. It's never okay to say shit like that. And anybody arguing against that is just, you're just ignorant of the history of that particular slang, or slander, I should say. You're just ignorant. Like, you must be living under a rock if you don't know that one major diss to black people over the years has been calling them monkeys. and saying that they're like direct descendants of the apes. You know, that's just been an ongoing racist quote joke that's gone on. So if you don't know that, I don't know where like what planet you've been living on, really. If you don't know that, you have to be like 12 years old, like, or younger, to not know that. Anybody my age, I'm 28. Anybody my age, older, like around this age, you know that that's a racist remark. So that's why people again, people on, and I hate to do this, but people on the right, or people that would be identified as being on the right, are like saying, oh, well, Bill Maher has called Donald Trump a monkey numerous times on his show, and he hasn't been canceled. Well, it's different. Calling a white person a monkey is not racially charged. It's not a racially charged statement. It's just not. That's like calling, let me think. I'm trying to think of another racially charged. I don't know, because I don't think of racially, because I don't think like that. But that's like calling a white person a beaner versus calling a Mexican a beaner. Clearly, like, there's a different, it's different, two different contexts in the insult. Could it even be looked at as an insult if you're calling a white person a beaner? I don't even know. The logic is just so stupid. It really is. It's just so stupid. People's logic. I hate when people do that. You know, it's like they get like children. You know, these are grown adults. First of all, grown adults on Twitter arguing their point as if the opposing ideology is going to see that one tweet and be like, oh my God, you know what? I've had it wrong this entire time, but thanks to your fucking tweet, I now feel the same exact way that you feel. Like, this internet, I used to do it too. I used to be so guilty of like arguing with people on the internet about politics and what side I was on and this and that. And I'm definitely left leaning for sure. I'm a liberal, and I will own that. I'm not an idiot though. I understand, like, I'm a free thinking liberal because I don't just subscribe to whatever people are saying on the left and like, yeah, that's right because they're liberals and I just have to agree with them. Like, no, not at all. But it's you have these grown adults on Twitter going back and forth arguing their points, and here's a situation that has sprung up that obviously is extremely problematic and is making everybody go crazy. And the first line of defense for this type of behavior is, well, he did it too. It's like, that's like a baby, like, that's a baby answer. When you're a kid, like my 2-year-old nieces, not even, my 2-year-old nieces don't even do that yet. They probably will. But like a 5-year-old, you take a 5-year-old and you tell them, hey, Johnny, you're not allowed to eat ice cream after 7 o'clock because I'm your mother and I say so. And little Johnny responds, well, Robbie down the block is allowed to. Robbie down the block it doesn't get in trouble when he eats ice cream past 8 o'clock. Like, what? That's not an argument. That's not a fucking argument. It's not an argument. When people argue against somebody else, when people are arguing for somebody else and they bring a third party into it, like when people are arguing for Trump and they bring it in Hillary, the two are not mutually, like, exclusive. Like, You can hate both. What I'm trying to say is, just because Trump is a dick doesn't mean that Hillary's not a twat at times. They're both assholes, and that can definitely be a reality. But people just get this tunnel vision when it comes to this type of shit. It's just so annoying. It's so annoying. Well, Bill Maher said something and he didn't get in trouble. You're a baby. You're a fucking child if you're arguing like that. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's just ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. The political climate, it's just become a joke. It really has, you know, on both sides. Both sides have just, I look at people on the left and these people who claim to be liberals, and I'm like, who are you? And then I look at people on the right. It's just, you go from one extreme to the next, and neither one is good. Neither one is innocent. Neither one is free thinking. They just subscribe to the status quo of whatever their clan is subscribed to at that particular point in time. And it's pretty disgusting in my opinion. I personally just don't get what's wrong with people. That's really it. I try to not pay attention, I guess. I mean, I try and pay attention to things that I feel are important, but at the same time, things like this just really, when I see the pettiness of people, not this, you know, okay, yeah, this is a serious thing. She made some pretty racially charged comments and is receiving backlash for it. Okay, understandable. Do I feel like her show should have been canceled? No. But not because of her. I feel like her show shouldn't have been canceled because of the other people involved. You have writers, you have producers, you have directors, you have people on the inside who are making money doing all of this. You have the other actors, and just so much that goes into a production like that, to literally just pull it completely for I mean, it was an unacceptable, like an unacceptable comment, no doubt, but to fuck everybody else over for one idiot, I don't know. And I feel bad even calling her an idiot, because it's like, going back to what I said before, you have to have a conversation with somebody. You don't know. You have to really sit down and be like, what the fuck were you thinking? Not in a nice way either. She's wrong. It was a moronic comment. But you have to eventually just be like, instead of just writing somebody off, just be like, where are you coming from? What's your problem? Are you a racist? Because judging by that comment, yeah, you seem like you have maybe you're not outwardly racist in the sense that you're not trying to lynch black people on the streets or anything like that. But just because you're not trying to lynch black people on the streets doesn't mean you're not racist. So let's dig a little deeper here and see maybe where that comment could have came from. Because maybe she doesn't even realize how utterly idiotic and racist that comment was. And she was trying to be funny, and then you get into, she's a comedian, and her forte is comedy and everything like that, and comedians tend to push that envelope a little bit and have a little bit more leeway, definitely, I think. I mean, because I'm not offended by every little stupid thing that comedians say, because I think you have to take it at face value. It's there to make you laugh. Do I think that that's what she was trying to do? No, I really don't. I think she was genuinely being racist. In my opinion, I think she was being a racist. But at the same time, it's like, let's talk. Maybe as her punishment, have a sit down, like ABC wants to get ratings, sit her down with this woman so that they can hash it out face to face and have a conversation. Maybe she can get to know this woman and realize, holy shit, we have more in common than we thought. That'll maybe bring ratings. But no, we just cut people off when they, make stupid remarks. I'm not saying if somebody murders your mom to go sit down and be like, what made you murder my mom? Like, that's, no, obviously. But if somebody says something or disagrees with you, right away we're just like, fuck you. Fuck you. I hate you. And that doesn't, at the end of the day, it solves the temporary problem. Like, yeah, you don't have to deal with them temporarily, but it doesn't solve the long term. It doesn't make that person see where you're coming from, and it doesn't make you see where they're coming from. But then those same people who are like, fuck you, you disagree, fuck you, you're an asshole, I hate you, are the same ones who are like, the divide in this country, the racial divide, the this and that. Like, don't complain about the divide when you're helping it. That goes for everybody. That goes for anybody who's not willing to sit down and have an educated, intellectual conversation with another person who disagrees. Even sometimes being in that uncomfortable situation where somebody's saying something that may be offensive to you. Sometimes you have to express that. I've had plenty of conversations with people who I don't necessarily agree with, and they've said things that are offensive to me, or that I would feel uncomfortable, literally. But this is like a face-to-face conversation. It's happened plenty of times. I've been literally told to my face that I have demons inside of me by somebody because I'm gay. Like, this is an actual conversation. And I didn't sit there and I didn't punch him in the face. At that point, I think when you get to that point, you tell I basically politely told him to go fuck off. But point being is, how are we ever going to get to a foundation where we're all kind of we're never all going to be on the same level, but we can't keep pushing racist, ignorant bigots in the closet. And like, it's literally like taking dust, and instead of vacuuming it up or whatever, cleaning up your floor, you take the dust and you just brush it under the rug and say, well, I don't see the dust anymore, so that must mean there's no more fucking dust. No, the dust is there. It's just building up under the carpet. Then eventually a big wind blows and blows all that dust back onto your floor, and now you're looking at even more dust than you were looking at before. Why? Because it's all fucking accumulated. That's the problem we have right now in this country, is we have all these racists who have always been racists and maybe don't even realize that they're racists, and now they're saying again, this. I wouldn't sit here and be like, Roseanne is not a racist. I don't think her show should have been canceled, though. I really don't. I don't know. I just don't think that should have happened. There's too many people involved to just take one person's idiot comment. I mean, unless contractually it was like the show doesn't happen without Roseanne, unless that's somewhere in the contract that they were forced to, in order to get rid of Roseanne, they had to cancel the show. I don't know. But even then, to completely get rid of her, force her into a conversation with Obama and this woman. Put her in the most uncomfortable situation where she's actually got to sit and face the two people that she was talking shit about. Because everybody gets their fucking Twitter hands on Twitter. Everybody talks their shit on Twitter behind a computer screen. Everybody. But it's when you're face to face with somebody and you actually have to face that person and tell them how you're feeling. or whatever, why you don't like them. That's when it becomes an awkward situation. Everybody buckles. Everybody buckles under that pressure. Not everybody. I can think of a couple people that wouldn't, but most people will be cordial in that. She wouldn't say that to the people's faces. That's what I'm trying to say. So instead of taking her and her show off the air, punishing everybody else, or even just punishing her in that respect, keep her on air, because at the end of the day, it was a ridiculous comment to make. But unfortunately, she's allowed to make it. It's freedom of speech. You're allowed to say whatever the fuck you want to say. So instead of canceling her show, put her in a room with Obama and this woman. What's her name? Valerie something or other? I don't even know her name, to be quite honest. What is her name? VJ meaning Obama. Oh, Valerie Jarrett. Yeah. Put her in a room with Valerie Jarrett and Barack Obama. Pay her nothing. Pay Obama and Valerie to show up. Make her go, like, as a punishment, you know, like community service type of thing, where she just goes, sits in a room with these two, and tries to have an intelligible conversation with the both of them, and see what comes of it. Let this woman confront her. Let her confront this woman. Maybe that, I mean, I don't know. But I agree in the sense that whenever somebody says something dumb, and there's a lot of room for people to say dumb shit on the internet. I've said some pretty dumb shit on the internet myself. So there's a lot of space and room, and there's a lot of platforms that people can use to say the dumbest shit on the face of the planet. The most offensive, dumb shit, right? So when we're living in that type of era where you can say you could be a random Joe Schmo one day and then the next day take one selfie with Justin Timberlake and be completely famous and have millions of followers. When we're living in that era, I don't think we should be in the business of just pushing people back into their isolation spaces, especially when it comes to people who are racist and bigoted and xenophobic and all of that. I don't think we should just cut, because what are they doing? What are they doing? Really? What are they learning from the situation? Again, they're just learning to shut the fuck up. They're not learning or getting any sense of understanding for the other side. They're not listening to why that's offensive. Of course she's going to apologize. Everybody always apologizes after the fact, after they get caught, after they're called out. Everybody. Not because they actually learned anything, or they like just had a grand epiphany at that moment, like, oh yeah, you're right, that was wrong. No, that's not why they're apologizing. They're apologizing because it's expected of them, because now you have millions of people who are fucking pissed off. So I don't think Roseanne genuinely realizes what she said and how wrong it was. I don't even want to talk about this shit anymore. I'm just saying that's my opinion on the situation. We have to learn how to speak more. We have to learn how to communicate more in this world and in this country. We have to learn how to, instead of fighting and bickering, listen to each other. And where it's due. Obviously, again, if somebody murders your grandma right in front of your face, I don't think you need to sit down with the murderer and have like a deep conversation. But in this instance, where the circumstances it would be rational to do so, why the hell not? I don't get it. I don't get it. It's like being in a relationship with somebody and them disagreeing with one thing and being like, nope, sorry, can't be with you anymore. Bye. You know, I know plenty of people in relationships where one person is totally for gay marriage and the other one is not. And some may, me being a lesbian, some may look at that and be like, well, that's fucking homophobic and your belief is your belief. Okay, yeah, it's rooted in homophobia, absolutely. But people don't realize they're being homophobic by doing that. But I see it all the time where it's like, well, Rodney doesn't really believe in gay marriage, so he's not going to come to your wedding, but I am. Okay, fine, whatever. That works for you. That's fine. So it's like, okay, this bitch is a bit of a racist. Let's talk it out. What happened to you? What happened in your past that made you this way? Who taught you how to be such an ignorant idiot? That's really it. Now, segueing into this whole debacle of the situation, again, the moral of the story here is free speech. You know, do I think that Roseanne should have her show canceled? No, I've already expressed that. I've expressed why, not because I think what she said was right, not because I agree with anything she said. What she said was disgusting and racist, rooted 100% in racist remarks and yada yada. But now we have the flip of that. And these same people who are coming to Roseanne's aid and talking about free speech and talking about, what about this person? What about that person? And yada, yada. I'm playing the victim. The right likes to play the victim a lot. Like they're the ones who are the oppressed. These are the same people who are in agreement with this rule. I keep wanting to say law. With this rule that the NFL owners have apparently unanimously approved of. And again, this is another example rooted in greed. These NFL guys, I mean, okay, yeah. I'm sure they have some sense of patriotism running, they're billionaires and they make their money and they probably have their politics about everything. But it's not about, at the end of the day, it's not about what's right to them. It's about ratings. It's about fans being pissed off and boycotting games and boycotting watching games. That's what it's about. They're not like, we have to stand up for what's right. These guys who made this decision are really just like, well, we don't want a bunch of people boycotting certain games anymore because that fucks with our revenue. That's literally what it boils down to. That's why ABC made their decision, and that's why the NFL owners are now making their decision. It's blatant. It's like right in front of your face, too. But people are going to obviously argue, and that's fine. People are going to say what they genuinely think, that the NFL owners have the best interest of the flag in mind, and that's fine. If you want to believe that, you can totally believe that. But this, again, goes back to freedom of speech, freedom of peaceful protest. Kneeling, what does that do? So it pisses some people off? Okay. And a lot of people are like, well, you wouldn't go to your job and tell your boss to go fuck himself without consequences. Yes, there are consequences, as we've seen, to everybody's speech and everybody's actions. There are consequences, right? But I'm sure there are jobs out there where the boss is that lenient that you can go tell him to go fuck himself, and that's just the relationship that he has with one of his employees, that, they go back and forth like that and nothing happens. So it's all a matter of perception and what you're willing to accept, if that makes any sense. And again, this isn't the same thing as telling your boss to go fuck himself. Like, kneeling during the flag isn't the same thing as saying fuck the police. If he came out with, like when he wore his pig socks, I don't agree with that. That to me, I think you're not being peaceful anymore. You're being a dick. So I don't agree with that. I don't agree with wearing socks. Like, however you feel about police brutality, I'm with him on that. I'm with the whole movement. I'm with kneeling during the flag, and I get that. I'm all for that. But that, I think, is more of a problem. Him wearing socks of pigs with police hats on. That, I feel like, is more of a problem than him kneeling during the national anthem. And we all forget the very, very huge fact. Because everybody on the right wants to talk about how it disrespects the military and it disrespects the flag, but we all forget the huge fact that I think it was a Marine told him to do that. A Marine was like, well, we, to show our honor and respect, we kneel. I guess when somebody dies or whatever he said, the fact of the matter is a Marine, a military person told him, hey, you want to make a point and you want it to be peaceful and you don't want to stir up too much shit, kneel. Instead of sitting, instead of just not standing, kneel. That's more respectful. Nobody takes that into account. Matter of fact, let's look it up. Because nobody wants to bring that up. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that a veteran told him to take a knee. Let's see. It says, Nate Boyer confirmed he convinced the quarterback to take a knee rather than sit during the national anthem. In September 2017, as many criticized the take a knee protests by the NFL players as anti-military, readers wrote in to ask if a veteran had played a role in Colin Kaepernick's decision to kneel during the national anthem in a protest of police killings of African Americans. Army Special Forces veteran Nate Boyer has said that his conversations with Kaepernick influenced the former NFL player to kneel rather than sit. So this guy is coming out and saying, yeah, I'm a veteran, and I told him to do this. Nobody wants to listen to that. Like, that should literally be the end of the situation. Like, a veteran told him to kneel because it's more respectful than sitting. And nobody wants to listen to that. And now there's a rule that you have to stand. Which, again, okay, fine, whatever. But then where are people going to protest? Because you can't protest out in the streets because then, if they have a march or something like that, they're looked at as, everybody is like, well, why are you marching? Go get a job, yada, yada. So this guy's at his job and he's not. It's the same. Okay. People want to use this workplace example as to why he should have to stand, right? But it's the same thing as, like, let's say, for instance, you're at your job and you're having a Christmas party and there's a person who doesn't celebrate Christmas. Are you going to force them to partake in the Christmas party if it's against their belief? No. So if it's against Colin's belief to stand during the national anthem and he wants to kneel because he believes that that's his way of protesting against police brutality, why not? He's not hurting anybody. I don't get it. I don't get this rule. This rule is nothing more than them just saving face when it comes to consumers, so that consumers don't completely write off the NFL and don't completely say, hey, we're not buying into NFL shit anymore. It's the same thing as that Starbucks barista who called the cops on some black dude, and people protested Starbucks as if Starbucks told this barista to call the cops, as if the corporation did it. Why are you boycotting the NFL? The NFL didn't tell Colin Kaepernick to kneel. Colin Kaepernick told Colin Kaepernick to kneel. And then, people's outrage over this shit forces retarded rules. Excuse me, I didn't mean to say retarded. Idiotic rules that take people's rights away. Really. This is, taking your right to freedom of speech completely away. Because, for what? I don't get it. Like, if I went into my job, again, it's the same thing as if I was, let's say, a Black Lives Matter backer, and I went into my job to try and raise money for that cause because that was what I believed in, and my job told me I wasn't allowed to because they didn't believe in it. That's what this is. This is not the same thing as telling your boss to go fuck himself. It's not at all. This isn't even the same thing as telling America to go fuck itself. And that's proven by, you could ask the veteran who influenced this dude to kneel and influenced the kneeling. Like, that's the equivalent. But people want to take one extreme and compare it to this. And be like, this is the same. No, it's not. It's not the fucking same thing. It's not. It's the same thing as, like, let's say somebody on the right wanted to raise money for the Salvation Army, which I'm pretty sure the Salvation Army has been known to, like, be anti-gay and yada yada, right? And have their I've heard of people saying that the Salvation Army is like a cult. I'm not even getting into it though. Yeah, you could literally Google Salvation Army horror stories. The Salvation Army is even worse than I thought. Let's read it. If you follow the link, you can get bigger screen. Okay, screw you. Let's see. All right, I can't find the story, but I've heard horror stories about the Salvation Army, right? So this is the same thing as somebody on the right advocating to go into work to raise money for the Salvation Army, which is a known organization that is homophobic. And them being told that they can't do it. Well, why not? I don't give a fuck. It's like Chick-fil-A. The owner of Chick-fil-A. Should he be forced to close his business because of what he believes? Because he's outright donated money to anti-gay organizations that I'm pretty sure advocate for, like, killing gays or conversion therapy or something like that. Something extreme. The CEO of Chick-fil-A was known for, like, he was an avid donator to these certain organizations. He still has a company. Why? Because that's his right. If that's what he believes in, that's what he believes in. He's allowed to do that. If I want to donate my money to the tranny organization that helps transgender people become, I don't know, transition. This was really not thought out that well. But if I want to donate my money to anything that I believe in, I should be allowed to. So why isn't this dude or these dudes who believe what they believe, why can't they kneel? It's so stupid. It really is. It's so stupid. You know what? I have my beliefs, right? I have my morals that I live by, that people wouldn't, certain people in certain groups wouldn't necessarily agree with. And I have my political beliefs. But you know what I do? I don't pay attention to the people who think that I'm an abomination. If I tried to get rid of every single person who thinks that I should die in this world, if I tried to shut down every organization that was bigoted or homophobic, I'd literally be spending my entire life trying to get rid of these people. But you have people who just cannot take any type of opposition. That's just what it comes down to. We've become, on both sides, we've just become so sensitive to, you can't disagree with me. If you disagree with me, you need to go away. It's like such a child. Again, it's such a child like reaction. I don't like him. I don't like him. Make him go away. That's not how life works. That's not how life works. Guess what? Sometimes you have a job, you hate your boss, you hate your coworker, and you have to fucking deal with it. You hate the customers, you have to deal with them. Everybody's an asshole. That's probably what this episode is going to be called. Everybody's an asshole. Cheers to that. It's just, oh my God, I feel like sometimes it's like we're just going backwards here. Like social media, you would think exposes all of these different opinions. You would think that because it exposes all of these different opinions that it would force us to face the opinions head on and have intelligent conversations. But no. It just brings out the idiot in everybody. Everybody wants to just make everything go away. I've had so many I guess you could say debates on Facebook, especially during the election, because I was not a Trump supporter. I'm not a Trump supporter. I don't trust him. I will outwardly say I am not a Trump supporter. I didn't vote for him. When I say I'm not a Trump supporter, I'm saying I didn't vote for him. I'm not one of those people who is going to hate everything that he does in the miraculous event that he actually does something right. I will come out and be like, okay, you know what? I kind of got to agree with him here. I'm not in that place. But I was, on the campaign trail, I was absolutely 100% anti him. And I expressed it all over my personal Facebook. And in expressing my opinions, I would bring on the opinions of others who I live in a predominantly, surprisingly, I live in New York, but I live in a predominantly Trump supporter place because I live on Long Island, and Long Island is very, unbeknownst to me, it's very Republican. And I'm surrounded by Trump supporters. So a lot of my family and a lot of my friends who I've, like, friends, meaning friends on my friends list, these are people I would never talk to. Like, I'd never asked how their day was, but they just felt, every time I would post a status, they just felt like it was an invitation for them to just give their opinion on the subject. So needless to say, the point of what I'm saying is I've had plenty conversations with people, debates, where, yeah, okay, it's gotten heated. My father has literally said some ignorant things about gay marriage and whatnot. I love the man, though. I'm not going to write him off because he disagrees or we have a disagreement, or I'm not going to write him off because his head's completely lodged up his asshole. I'm going to sit and have a conversation with you, and okay, we're not going to get anywhere because you agree what you agree. You agree with what you agree with, and I have a different opinion, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, even if you could just get to a place of like, let's agree to disagree. We know we don't agree. Fine. But plenty of people that I don't know, I've had conversations with, opposing my beliefs, I've been told plenty of times, wow, you're the first person I've spoken to that has an opposing position that has actually been diplomatic and understanding and actually just has had a conversation. And in my head, I'm like, how can we just not have a conversation about this? We just resort, we're like babies. We resort to just name calling. I can't. And then we see all these people come out of the woodwork, these kids, these young kids. I don't know if you've ever heard of Lil Tay, this 9-year-old kid who talks about how much money she has, and like she curses and she's this gangsta bitch. I'll do trust me, I want to do a whole episode on this bitch, because it's not her, because it's been known that Lil Tay is fake. It's acting, and she's a 9-year-old. She obviously doesn't talk the way that they portray her to talk. But either way, then we wonder why we have all of this ridiculous stuff coming out of the woodwork. Because we're not any better. We're not any, like, the adults are not any better than the kids. We're all sitting here just bickering like babies, like little toddlers. We're like tantruming toddlers. That's what we are. Tantruming toddlers. We can't deal with somebody who doesn't agree with us. It's like, she doesn't want to be my friend anymore because I don't like Barbies and she likes Barbies. It's literally the same logic. Like, I'm deleting you off of my Facebook because you voted for somebody that I didn't vote for. I can't. I just can't. The stupidity of people. Oh, it's giving me a huge headache. It's just giving me a huge headache. I gotta take these off. I'm genuinely getting a headache thinking about it. Oh, I make myself laugh. What's wrong with people? I just don't get it. I mean, I have faith in humanity. I do. I have faith that there's going to be a turning point at some point. There has to be a turning point at some point. We can't continue to do things the way that we're doing them in this country. But here we are. And this is an example of, again, two opposite ends of the spectrum. You have one woman who's making a racist remark and she's being canceled. Then you have an opposing viewpoint of somebody kneeling during the national anthem, and he's being forced to stand. And all, everybody in the NFL now is being forced to stand, or else they're going to have fines and have to pay money or whatever. I don't agree with either. That's my opinion. I don't agree with Roseanne and her views. I don't agree with what she has said. I think it's disgusting. I think it's in poor taste. There's a lot that can be said about that, but I don't think the show should have been canceled. That's where I disagree. Because at the end of the day, she used her right to free speech to say something completely offensive. Should she reap the consequences? Yes. Do I think that everybody else should reap consequences because of her actions? No. Not at all. I don't think that. I don't think everybody else should suffer because she made a wrong, really, really wrong move. I think that's what it comes down to. We should be able to say what we want. And if we say things that are offensive and racist and rooted in bigotry, yes, you should reap consequences. But your consequences should not be to be outcasted or shunned. You should literally be forced into a room filled with black people. So you can face, not so you can be beaten up or anything like that, but so you can face the people that you're insulting. You're a racist? Okay, go sit down with a bunch of black people and talk about it. Maybe get a fucking education and get with the times. And realize that you should not be a fucking racist. Maybe do that. I don't know. That's my opinion on the subject. I think I've spoken for a very long time. I don't know if I want to hear myself speak anymore. This has been an hour's worth of just me word vomiting about the ridiculousness of social media and the ridiculousness. No, it's not social media. It's not social media. It's idiots on social media and just idiots. The ridiculousness of idiots. I'm done. This has been Enlightenment Talk with Tori Franco. I don't know. And again, I don't claim to have all the answers. Really, genuinely, don't claim to know it all or even understand it all. Or I really didn't even do too much research on this topic. I really just pulled up the articles and kind of read and just gave my opinion. So I'm not an expert. I'm not a political expert. I pay attention just enough to know what the hell is going on, but just as little to know that I don't want anything to do with it because it gives me a stomach ache. So there's that. But that's my opinion. I don't think we should be so quick to just write people off who say stupid things. You want to write a pedophile off? You want to throw a pedophile in jail, obviously. You want to shun a pedophile? Fine. That's a major offense. But somebody who says something bigoted, who could possibly learn, why not? Why not give that person the chance to learn and be a reformed racist? You know, again, going back to what Trevor Noah said, and I hate to continue, but I'm going to for just a little bit longer. He gives an example of how he had a racist friend, I guess, who didn't realize he was racist or the things that he would say were racist. But being around Trevor and learning about Trevor and being told about, hey, what you said there, that's fucking racist, at the very least caused him to think about his actions and his words a little bit more. You know, my family, my uncle is black, and we're, an old-fashioned Italian family. And my grandfather, God rest his soul, was not, coming from those times and being Italian. Italians are known to can be very ignorant. He wasn't the most open to having a black son-in-law, but he was forced to know my uncle. My uncle has passed away, but he was forced to know my uncle. And in getting to know my uncle, and instead of pushing the relationship away and being like, okay, we have to keep them away from one another because he's black and he's racist, the family kind of forced them together and kind of forced them into the same environment. And when my grandfather got to know my uncle and see how wonderful of a human being he was, that was it. My grandfather's view completely changed. So if that's all it takes is a conversation or an experience with the person that you think you hate or you think you have something against, then why not? Why not do that? Wouldn't that just help the situation even more? That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm coming from. I hope you understand. Anyway, I'm done with this shit. I'm done with it. I love you all very much. Thank you for listening to me and my opinions. I promise I'll get better at this, but I kind of like giving my opinion on this type of stuff. So I may do more episodes like this. Let me know if you like them. Anyway, I love you all. The secret word of the day, if you're listening to this so far, up to this point, the word for this episode, the secret word is jackass. That's the secret word. Comment below if you've listened up to this point. Let me know. #jackass. Anyway, I love you all very much. This is the What the World Needs podcast. Until next time, stay real, stay smiling, stay wonderful. Peace out, everybody.